What's up, mamas? I'm Rebecca. You're watching the Reseller Mom Show. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Reseller Momversations. So excited to bring this episode to you today. I have Erin Hall with me, also known as Asa Lady, and I'm super excited for this particular episode because I've been watching her videos for quite some time, and I think this woman is hysterical. So I'm very excited to have her on today, and I will let her go ahead and just give a quick introduction of herself, and then we'll see where our episode takes us. Hi, Erin.
Hi, guys, and hello to you this morning. I'm Erin, also known as Asa Lady, like you said, and I am a Poshmark reseller, and I mainly sell clothing, a little bit of home goods, but that's about it. But I also happen to be a mom.
And that's why, I really started this channel in particular. And once I kind of got my feet wet with being a YouTuber and figuring out how it all works and doing my stuff by myself, I kind of felt ready to say, okay, like now it's time to do what I intended with this channel, which is to talk with other moms and share that experience, because it can be so different for people. I mean, we all have our own stuff, which makes it unique to us. But in general, like there's someone else, like you have, I think, older kids. I have a little toddler. Some people have multiple. Some people are single parents. Some people work and do this. And so sharing those stories about what we all go through, I think makes it a little less lonely, makes it a little bit easier. And then those tips and tricks kind of come through because of your unique experience. So I'm really excited to have you. And like I said, I find your videos very funny. Like, I remember in the beginning looking at YouTube videos and watching them and having them on while I do stuff. And I have YouTube Red, so I can do other things and, I'm not having to like necessarily watch. And, I'd watch haul videos all the time, but mostly just listen. And if something would pique my interest, then I'd go in and look at it and see what it is. And so yours must have come up in a suggested. And all of a sudden, like you made one of your funnies that you did, like you just say things that are funny, and the way that you talk, I think, is funny. And so I laughed out loud. I'm like, has not happened in a haul video before. Like usually they're not that funny. so I was like, oh, I need to see what she's all about. So I appreciate you bringing kind of like a lighter, humorous side. And I don't know if you even know that you're doing it, but I enjoy it and it's very entertaining.
Well, I don't know how long it took you to click on the YouTube Red, because I always tell them no.
Oh.
But I actually don't watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Right.
But I did before, when I was newer in selling.
Yeah.
I watched them, and my husband and I used to put them on like our TV in the living room and watch them, because he used to do a lot of eBay stuff. He doesn't anymore because he's busy with his real job, but he was a very part-time eBay seller. So we used to watch them together.
That's interesting.
And there were always I always liked, like if I was watching, like there's a few couples that I watched, and I always liked like the non-seller in the video.
Right.
Like I always liked their quips better. I always liked their insight better. And so I was like, and when people got to know me more on Instagram and started asking, like, do you make YouTube videos? Do you make YouTube videos? And I was like, no. And so when I decided, I was like, I'm not going to do this unless I can have fun with it and really be who I am.
Right.
Because like, there's only so much you could say when you're just showing people clothes you bought at the thrift store, which is already like a wild, weird thing to do. And like, but now, like I even have like one of my best friends she puts my YouTube videos on in her house just to like watch. And she's like, it's fun to like be around you when I can't be around you. And I'm like, that's so weird, Erica.
My own sister doesn't even want to watch my YouTube videos most of the time. I'm like, go on and watch this video of mine and see if I did this, or tell me how this was, because I'm just self-conscious. I want to make sure that I'm doing a good job with it and that I don't say anything weird and that it seems good. And she's like, okay, whatever. And I like have to make her. So that's hysterical that one of your friends like actually wants to watch your videos. That's awesome.
Yeah, for me, I don't rewatch it because I know that I've said something weird.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee that something weird has been said.
Yeah.
But I think that they're fun to do, and I've gotten, I don't know if lazier is the word, but I definitely have more of an on time where I like, you know, it has to be like the perfect mix of I have to have enough stuff to show someone.
Right.
And I also have to be in the mood to get on and be 100% of myself.
Right.
But I guess that's showbiz, huh?
Well, and do you have it, like, were you like a drama person or like a theater? Like you just
No.
very natural. Like like I said, it's just so different from anybody else's haul videos that I was excited to have you on because I wanted to tell you that, and I just
well, thank you.
Impressed.
No, my husband is the drama person. My husband's in theater. He's a theater professor.
I
he
remember
does costume design. But I've never done theater or anything like that. I've never made videos or anything. I am naturally a weird, quirky person, I think. My parents are very funny. I don't like to say that I'm funny because that's like weird and conceited.
Right.
But my parents are really funny, and I have a strange mix of their two personalities.
Yeah.
So
well, it's entertaining, and for those that maybe haven't seen her videos, I definitely encourage you to find her YouTube channel. I'll link it all below and check it out because it's just very refreshing from, again, the weird thing of seeing other people's used clothes being shown by someone else that's going to sell them to other people that want the whole thing when you actually do sit and think about what we do.
Yeah.
Aside from the YouTube stuff, just the reseller stuff, it's really fun. And I think about it a little bit more that my little guy, he's going to be 4 in December, that he's in school. And I'm like, someday is this going to come to bite him that his mom is, 1, a reseller of clothing and sells stuff on the internet, and 2, is talking about it online. Like, what if they found, like, I don't know, I just don't want him to be like bullied or because for any of my shenanigans, because that would be very awful.
So my son is 12.
Okay, I knew there.
I just have one. He's 12 and he's in middle school, 7th grade, and he uses it as like clout. Like he will for sure be like, so I'll hear him. He like does all the video gaming, so he'll be on Fortnite talking with his friends, you know, on a 7-way chat or something. And be like, my mom got 1,000 likes on her Instagram post today. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, boy.
That's good. Well, that's a good way to look at it then.
And he doesn't watch my videos. He doesn't have any social media yet. So, but I do think it's interesting that I'm so accessible. But I also have tried really hard to respect, now that he's older, you know, he doesn't like his photo to be taken or shared on social media.
Right.
So it's very rare that you'll see my son, because it's not him. He has his own YouTube channel. You won't see him on there. It's all like Z cars that he races.
Cool.
But that part of being a mom, I think I share more stories about being a mom and ways that it affects my day and how I do things. But I'm very conscious of the fact that social media in general, you know, he hasn't chosen it for himself yet. Right. And I find that is his decision. Yeah. You know, at his age, it'll be just a few years now before he'll want Snapchat or he'll want a Twitter or he'll want some form of social media. Yeah. And so I don't want to put too much out there of him. And Lord knows, I'm glad that I can't see pictures of myself from when I was on the internet. I know. Well,
and I go back and forth on it too, because I part of me, the whole reason why I did this was because when I was new, and I've been doing it about 3 years, so I don't think that I'm an old hat at this. I think I have a lot to learn still, but, you know, at least I'm in it. And, you know, in the very beginning, when you're just finding out that this is even a thing, at least for me, when I'm trying something new, I'm like voracious. Like I had to watch all the videos. I had to research all the stuff. Like I had to just surround myself with everything. And, you know, that was very exciting, and I learned a lot, and I appreciate all the people I learned from, but I didn't feel like anybody was specifically speaking to the mom experience. Yet I knew that so many of us were moms and we're either doing it from home or doing it in addition or, you know, whatever. And so I felt like that was going to be my voice and my way in, because Lord knows we don't necessarily need another person showing other people's clothes on the internet, but we do need other voices that share the experience around it so that you can find your place in this community, because it is so different. And so, you know, that's the whole genesis for this. And I feel like a lot of us have little kids. And so like, there's definitely people like you that have the older kids, and that's awesome. And I kind of daydream about what I'll do with 5 full days when he's in school, of like how much I could actually get, how much I can actually get done. It's going to be amazing. But like, you know, when you are home and you have this little squirt, how do you get it done? How do you source? And that's why I do show him, because I want people to see, like, this is how I entertain him when I'm at my storage unit. This is what I give to him and how we do it. And no, I can't go for hours. And I'm lucky if I get 30 to 45 minutes in a thrift store, you know. No, I don't take him to the bins or whatever. So I think he'll have to give me a talking to later, I guess.
Well, I would say that even at age 12, that does not change.
Oh God.
I do have the time he is at school. But you also find, just like all moms do, you juggle so much. So when I first started reselling, I was the manager of a Salvation Army.
So that's what I knew you had. Were in it at some point in another capacity.
And before that, I had owned my own vintage clothing store. And I was lucky when I had the store, because I was a single mom at that point. But his grandma would pick him up from school and then bring him to the store to me.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, he was very much used to being around me while I worked.
Right.
And that was really nice, and I think helpful as he got older. But when I managed Salvation Army, it was truly a full-time job, and my store location was 45 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So I left every day and would get home sometimes at 6:30, 7:30. And it got to the point where, you know, after I was not getting enough time with my family in general.
Right.
And I was an angry, angry woman by the time I arrived home some nights. You know, like all day you're, you know, in people's faces, people are in your face, you're dealing with everything of running a retail business that is not your own.
Right.
Which was a change for me. And I managed somehow to, I'm going to say convince my husband, although that doesn't sound very like womanly of me. Like I had to convince my husband, but truly I did.
You have to make decisions together.
Yeah. So it finally took like some talking that I was like, listen, like I see what comes into a thrift store. Like I see what we are getting in, and it would be more beneficial if I could just buy these things
instead of working
here to sell them for someone else. If I could buy them and then resell them on my own.
Yeah.
And just the time benefit. I think at that point we were paying for after school care, and Jack is very attached, I would say. He had a little bit of an attachment, not disorder, but he was very attached to me. And I think that comes from being a single mom for a long time, where he did not like to go to the after school program. He did not like to be away from us for that long. And so we were already paying for an after school, and it was far enough away where my husband had to get off work and then drive one way and then turn around and drive the other way. And it was just, we finally realized it was beneficial for me to be at home.
Yeah.
And at the time we lived in a really tiny house, and I had this little tiny room off of our bedroom. It's really, it was a closet. And I had like 6 tubs of things, and I took pictures on the front porch during a certain period of time when the sun was just right.
Yeah.
And it really grew from there. And I think it was a few months, you know, and I think the beauty of reselling is even in the beginning, when looking back, I could say now, like, I was not making enough money when I started for anyone to have respected my sales in any way.
Yeah.
But at the time, they felt glorious and big and successful. And I never questioned watching it grow each month, because even though it grew slowly, I could still see growth. And so I
Right.
knew I was on the right path to making it work.
Right.
And as my son has gotten older, you know, he still doesn't like to go to the thrift store. That doesn't change. They still are like totally not that interested.
Right.
He will find things every now and then that, you know, he likes Nerf guns, he likes Legos, he likes remote control cars.
Yeah.
And so he's now old enough where, like, the minute we walk through the Goodwill door, he bolts and is gone.
Yeah.
And that still gives me like a little bit of a panic, because maybe I'm a little attached to him too.
Right.
Where I'm like, where are you? You know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm the mom yelling through the store, like, Jack. But now he has his own things to find, but he has very quickly learned what I like to find.
Oh.
So he can pop through a rack with me, and if he's in the right mood, pull out a shirt and be like, this is J. Crew, do you want this, Mom? And I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, he's slowly learning brands. Nice. And he now recognizes brands on other people. So he knows the brands that he likes. He likes Nike, he likes Under Armour, but some boys at school wear Patagonia and Southern Tide, because we live in the South. So he recognizes fashion in a certain way now, which is really interesting. And he also helps a lot for me. He knows how to put away my inventory.
Oh, nice.
Which is cool. And my inventory is just done by letters and numbers.
Yeah.
So everything gets a number, and then everything gets
colorful.
Everything gets a letter and then a number.
Okay.
But they all have corresponding letter bins. And I think that, you know, if your kid is old enough to know his letters, they can probably put away some inventory. It's going to take a while.
Can't wait for the day.
Occasionally find an F in the E or an M in the N.
Right.
But it's cool that now he gets it and can help.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, he goes in and out of being interested. And again, he's going to only be 4.
Yeah.
But I really think my mom was a teacher, but she did like things on the side. So it was kind of like she had her own business or whatever. Yeah. And so I grew up helping her do so many things. And I feel like people that have their work at their work, like that's great, because when you come home, then maybe you're more present or whatever. But I do think that there's a value in your child seeing what work looks like, seeing how you work, seeing the ethic and being, you know, good with things, taking care of your supplies. Or, I mean, I'm not a teacher person. I'm scared at multiple children in any like spot of like, there's more than 3, like I have, like I should be getting hives or something. It's just terrible. But for one, you know, I think of all the things that I could teach Gio with this business and how much he has learned already and kind of mimics. And like, you know, the other day I showed a picture of him. I have like 2 desks. I'm in my reselling room. So I'm on the one desk and there's another one where I do my shipping. And like he had his little, it's an old laptop, and he was like jamming away. Now, of course, he was talking about like doing who knows what weird stuff that had nothing to do with reselling. But he sees me on the computer, and, you know, so it's just going to develop things that where they just only know that, like they don't know that it's any different. So like when you had your son at the store with you, he didn't know that that is or isn't a good thing. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. The moms that bring their kids to the bins, you know, sometimes I get a little kooky about it, but they got to do what they got to do for their family, and at least they're working and, you know, whatever. So I feel like it's good for them to see all of that, and we'll develop a good work ethic in them. And you'll probably see that in him because he is older, and you can, you know, see that more. I mean, the jury's still out on Gio. We'll see. We'll see about him. But I did want to ask too, so because your stuff is all, or not all, but like when you bring out your haul, you're like, well, guess what? There's J. Crew. Guess what? I have anthropology. Like, you know, you stick to very specific lanes. And so I was just curious, did that just develop over time? Is that just what you like? Like, how did that all come about?
It's a combination of where I live regionally and what I like.
Yeah.
So if I'm at the thrift store and I find something that's not in my like wheelhouse and I know that it's worth picking up,
Yeah.
I'll pick it up.
Oh.
But I also love J. Crew and Anthropologie.
Right.
And where I live, there's not, like, we don't have a Nordstrom here. We don't have a fancy department store. We have like a Dillard's and a Belk.
Okay.
Like, there's no big shopping here. There are no high-end retail stores. I mean, if you wanted to find, like, even, I don't know, if you wanted to buy a Louis Vuitton, you're going to drive 3 hours.
Right.
Like, there's no nice shopping here.
Right.
And it's also a beach town.
Okay.
So
and
people don't wear, like, real shoes.
It's South Carolina.
Yeah, I live outside of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Gotcha.
I'm from Myrtle Beach, but now I live like 10 miles away.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So the stores that we do have, I feel like also happen to be what I buy. So there is a J. Crew factory here. There's not even a retail store here, just the factory.
Right.
So I do very much think that it has a lot to do with what's available to me. And what I like. And sometimes I think that I back myself into a little bit of a corner on that, because it does mean that I haven't really grown by way of what I like to find. And then I also wonder, is it even out there? And sometimes I get on, there's a few other sellers in my area, not very many, but a few, and I'll get on and look at their stores or their sites, what they're selling.
Right.
And it's not that much different, but it's not that much better either.
Right.
And sometimes I wonder, I see people pick up vintage tees, and I never go through t-shirts. So I don't know if I would sell t-shirts. It's like,
I don't deal with it either. I feel like it's just
like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I don't know if I would be a good picker of that. I'd be like, oh, this looks old. Okay, great.
Yeah, like, I don't wear vintage tea, so I don't know if I'm the one who should be buying a vintage tea.
Right.
And I do, like, I travel out of town a little bit, but I think being a mom, that is not something I have time for.
Yeah, it's not realistic all the time.
I mean, I would really have to go. The closest I go is Florence, which is about 45 minutes away, and I can find nicer things there. And that's a trip I have made. I think I've made it once on a school day, but it sends me into a panic because I have to be back by a certain time.
Yep.
And then I get worried and I get anxious. Well, what if something happened to me? And how would anyone know where I was? And luckily, my mom lives really close by. She's a few blocks over. So next Monday, my husband has an appointment, a work meeting in Charleston, South Carolina. So I am going to go to Charleston and see what I can find.
Nice.
But I do kind of stick to my lane as far as what I pick up.
Well, I think it helps too that at least seemingly on Poshmark, that's a good lane to be in. If you're some other cockamamie thing that just didn't happen to be in style with all the whoever's that are buying these things on Poshmark, sometimes I wonder, and then I think I don't want to know who's buying, but I really don't know who's buying all this stuff.
Yeah.
But, at least then they're, like for me, I rarely find Anthropologie. I'm in Orlando. Yeah. I go to the bins primarily. I do go to the Goodwill retail sometimes. And like, it's really hit or miss. Like, I'll find 1 in 250 or 300 items of a Free People. Like, I just don't find it. So I don't know if like the Orlando people just are not very stylish. Like, I mean, I wear, my mama form. So this is, stretchy yoga pants and a tank top.
I still have on my pajama pants.
There you go. Like, I don't have any sense of style these days. So, I just see what people have on their hauls. That's how I try to keep in the know on it.
Yeah.
And, I'm just like, I don't hardly ever find a lot of this stuff. I will say I've learned a lot from you because you don't come out with like straight up tips videos. You just kind of drop random things as you're talking about them in your haul, which, it's like a nice little bonus when you say something about, I can't think of anything right now, but like, I know I've learned some interesting key points about J. Crew. I know I learned, what is it? Cupcakes and Cashmere. I think you have a couple, like, I didn't know about that one, so I picked up a few things because I remembered that brand from you. So, I mean, I think it's nice because it's very relaxed. Like, you're not just coming like, this is what you should buy and this is why I buy it. You know, for me, I'm very, at least with my YouTube videos, like, I'm conscious of people's time. I'm conscious of my time. I just want to say what I need to say. And hopefully that's helpful to you because that's what I would want to know. And so that's either going to be helpful to someone or not. Either they're going to like it or they're not. But your videos are very relaxed. Like I said before, you know, funny and stuff. But then you kind of drop these random bits of info from your gatherings of knowledge, you know, along the way. So I find that helpful because it's not something I normally know because I don't normally see those things.
Yeah, I don't edit any of my videos either, which I think is helpful but not helpful.
Right, no.
So I'm prone to like rambling on, and I just know that it's all going to get uploaded. I'm not going to take the time to edit it. It's not going to be very pretty sometimes. It's just going to go up how it is. I do see, you know, every now and then you catch I'll feel like I catch some shade and people are like, I see people tell well, J. Crew doesn't sell. And I'm like, please keep telling people that because I keep selling it.
Right,
and
right.
I'm like down to a narrow sliver of the internet that is selling it, then that's perfectly fine by me. But sometimes I make a point to like, and I've done this recently, I'll be like, I cannot pick up any more J. Crew Factory. It's over for right now.
Yeah.
Unless it's fabulous. And then there's that moment where I'm like, this is fabulous. I'm going to list it.
Right. No, I felt that way a lot about J. Crew because it was always J. Crew, J. Crew. And then I would find things, I would list it. I'd be so excited about it. And then I'm like, nothing's happening. Like, I can't give this away. So now I'm actually for J. Crew specifically, just because that's common enough. I do find that. And I find it often. And now I'm at the point where I'm confident enough in my skills and that I have enough things to where I can put it back. Because in the beginning, and a lot of moms with little kids, and maybe you too, feel like when you finally get that time to go to the thrift store, it's go time. And if you walk away with nothing, like, you have to have so much fortitude to walk away with nothing if you don't find what you want to be finding. And I wouldn't, and I didn't in the beginning. And I ended up with so much nonsense. And now I'm paying the price 3 years later of stuff that, for the most part now, everything's a year or less. I've gotten to that point. A few months ago, I did a huge edit and I got rid of 500 items that were just
holy cow
nonsense. Like, I had over 2,000 items. I have a storage unit. So if not for the storage unit, I'd be divorced at this point. So my husband does not do well with clutter and things and stuff. So that's why, you know, how you convinced to be able to like get your time at home to do this. My convincing, one might even say harping or nagging, would be to have the reselling room where everything can be in here. It's my mess. If it's messy, and he doesn't even have to look at, like, I don't think he ever steps foot in here. Like, whatever goes on in that room stays in that room. I don't want to know. And so, you know, I can, and I don't like it when it's messy, but it's a little overcrowded right now. But having the storage unit is helpful. But then even at that point, it got to be like where I knew that Old Navy does not belong in my store anymore. Like, but in the beginning, I didn't know that. In the beginning, I'm like, oh, Old Navy, oh, Gap. You know, I thought Gap was great. I used to love Gap. Now I'm like, Gap, like, you know. Yeah. So it's interesting how you evolve with your stuff over time and can get more picky. But then at the same time, you can almost get too picky. And have a store full of nice stuff that doesn't sell because not everybody wants a $68 whatever thing. They just want a $20 pair of whatever kind of other jeans. So do you just focus on, like, 'cause I won't say that J. Crew is high end. It's a good, it's not popular, but a good product and a good seller. What is your range of like high end money wise versus, you know, lower end items?
So my average sale price is between, which isn't an average, but I'm going to do the in between anyways, is between $18 and $24.
There you go. Yep.
And that does not bother me at all.
And I'm not the Poshmark sale price, like gross.
Yeah. And that doesn't bother me at all. I don't mind packaging things. I don't mind shipping things.
Yeah.
I ship almost every single day. I know that I am not struggling to find things to sell. So if I am at the thrift store, and the same thing happens to me. Yesterday I had an hour in between. I had to take my mom to a doctor's appointment, and then I had like 1 hour before I had to be at the school. And I was like, okay, I have this 1 hour to get there and see what I can find. And I think I bought 13 things.
Nice.
But for me, even if those things only sell for $18, I pay an average of $3.25 an item. I probably 1 in every 35 things I find are going to be a nicer item.
Right.
That I can sell for a little bit more. Sometimes I will source off of eBay to sell on Poshmark for nicer items.
Nice.
But I don't really mind that my items are lower. I will way more easily spend $25 on a shirt or a pair of jeans than I can spend $75 on something.
Right.
So I think I'm trying to find those same like-minded people who want a bargain. And really for me, if I'm making a good profit off of something, and I think if I'm buying for $3 and selling for $18, I'm still making a good profit off of it. I have the space to store it. I have a whole room now too. I have the space to store it. So for me, if it takes 6 months to sell that thing at $18, it's really no sweat off my back.
Right. No, I get that. Yeah. I just feel like for a while I got so specific where I was really looking up comps and I was really trying to focus on higher end things. And then I'm like, but I still have all those higher end things. So the fact that I sourced it, and I was so amazing because I happened to find this thing. Because it's not like I went at, I mean, I guess the skill is that you knew that it was a good thing. That's the skill. But really, it's all just damn luck. And so I was lucky enough to find this thing. Now I have this thing. The pictures are great. And, this $60 item has been sitting in my store for forever when I could have probably taken, that same amount, find 3 $20 items and they'd be gone already.
And they'd be gone,
my profits a flip. So I go back and forth on it. I don't know when I'll settle because I feel like I find both, so it's like you might as well just grab both and, you don't have to be one model or the other. You can be a mix. So it's just being okay in that. I think year 3 to 5 of reselling will be getting like settled into what I am as a reseller. Because there's people that, like I don't really deal with shoes. I don't want to deal with shoes. I have zero desire for shoes. But some people that really gets them going. So like, I think, just being okay with like, I'm okay to let those shoes, even if they could make money, be okay. Because I don't want to list them. I don't want to research them. I don't want to look at them, in my Poshmark, like I don't want to look at them. So these next couple of years, I think is going to really be like getting settled in, being confident in what I'm doing. I don't know that I could ever pare down to a brand, like brands or a look like I don't know. I think that would be very hard for me to limit.
Me too.
Yeah.
I look at like what I have to list today and it really runs the gamut. Like I have a child's Frozen costume.
That's great.
I'm looking at my rack. There is a striped rails shirt, some Anthropology, some vintage, and then what I have to ship today. Like there's a Levi's jacket that's made out of fleece. There's like a bundle to a girl who buys from me pretty regularly, who's a local, which that always trips me out.
Yeah.
Because like she could find.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't ever see me narrowing. I mean, I think maybe I already have narrowed myself down, but I will buy it if it's going to sell well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to force myself to look in other sections of the thrift store. I definitely check out men's way more than I ever used to, because now men's items, I sell a few of them. I mean, I think I've shipped 4 men's things already this week.
Good. I like certain, I like certain men's stuff. Sometimes it's too big. I hang it on the wall, and then I feel like I need to, like, I have the plus size hangers that extend, so that's helpful sometimes. But like the men's dress shirts, I don't even know, even if it was the greatest brand, I don't even know if I would want to deal with it. I just got, people that see me on Instagram, and then we'll wrap up. I went to my dry cleaners, and for whatever reason, I finally decided to ask her, what do you do with the stuff that become abandoned in your dry cleaning store? And she was like, well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I'm stressed out because I have so much and I have nowhere to put it and I don't know what to do. And she's like, I was going to bring it to the Goodwill, but I've heard really bad things about donating to the Goodwill, which I don't know what would be bad about donating. I mean, it's one thing if you agree or don't agree with how they operate.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem. I buy stuff there all the time. I donate stuff there all the time. Fine. But so she's like, do you want it? And I was like, don't toy with my, like, don't mess with me. Are you going to give me these clothes? I said, how much do you want for them? I can look through them and see what I want, and then, pay you, a couple dollars each or whatever. She's like, just take them, just donate what you don't want. I loaded up my Santa Fe with 2 giant garbage bags, like for leaves and yard work, like big ones.
That's awesome.
2 of those, and then probably a good 40 things on hangers that had the full dry cleaning plastic on top of them. And I dumped it all in my guest room bed, and I went through it. My sister's a reseller too, so I said, come over, and take some stuff. And I gave her most of the men's dress shirts because I just don't want anything to do with them. Like, I just can't get excited about it. I don't want to list them. They're going to end up just sitting here. So I ended up finding some good things, not as good of stuff as I thought I would, because we live in a nicer middle class area, probably with people that think that they're upper class more than they actually are. So you find a good mix of stuff that they probably can't afford, but they bought it anyway. And so, so you would think we'd have, like, plus it's dry clean. You don't just dry clean your nonsense.
True.
Is what I thought, but apparently people do, because there was apartment 9 out the yin yang and like nonsense. Oh God. But it was cool. I mean, some Calvin Klein, and I don't know what else that was good. Just some interesting stuff, which I try to mix in, even if it's not a specific brand, but I feel like I can do like good keywords on it.
Yeah.
And someone will, they'll meet their match and find their piece and whatever. But yeah, so that was interesting and cool. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good to like just focus on the stuff that you're happy to list, because I think that's how people end up with all their crazy death piles. Because they bought stuff and then they don't really want to list it.
It's funny you say that. Today I have a friend coming over, and in the spring she just moved back into town. She had some issues going on, but she needs some money. And so in the spring I had her come and learn how to photograph for me.
Nice.
And she's coming today to photograph, but I don't necessarily keep a death pile, but I definitely have a pile of stuff that I don't want to photograph. Which I think is probably a death pile that I'm just not like applying the word to.
Right.
It's not haunting me yet, but it's definitely there.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited that today she's coming and going to take pictures.
She has no opinion one way or the other. So
she doesn't care. And that's the thing, because I look at my rack of stuff and I have like one little tub of things, and I'm like, I don't really want to steam and photograph that. Maybe I'll just wait. That looks hard. But she has no opinion.
Right.
Like, I pay her $1 an item.
Nice.
She doesn't care. She's just going to get them all done.
Right. And you're paying her $1 to steam, photograph, fold, and pack?
No, so it'll basically, it's just $1 per item, no matter what she has to do to the item. But I hang everything when I get it, and I fold all the pants, and they've already been like laundered. They haven't been steamed.
Okay.
So she will take them from the rack to my wall. I have a wall very similar to yours. She'll photograph and then toss it in a bin, and I have a bin next to me.
And then that's what you'll do to list it.
And then I list off of the bin.
Right.
And I'll list as she's photographing.
Oh, good.
Which is like keeps it going. She just airdrops the photos to me as she's standing in the room with me.
Yep, that's nice. When I started with my photographer, she used to come here, and that worked out well. And then we came to the conclusion, and then we'll go because she decided that she would make a wall at her house in her guest room and do it at home. And I bought her a second set of lights, and she does it at home, and that's worked out really well. But she doesn't steam because I have my steamer here. But she does like prep it, fill out a form with all the information to list it, photograph it, pack it up with the inventory thing and everything, bring it back to the storage unit, put it away in the bins.
That's awesome.
But then the photos, she takes a photo of the form, and then my virtual assistant does the listing from the form and from the photos. And so that happens like with some of the inventory, and the other inventory, in order to like double myself, then I do the rest. And so then that follows a different process because I'm doing it because I could just list from the photos,
Yeah.
So that's been working, and that's been going on for almost about 2 years. And I wouldn't have the store. Like I wouldn't have it if I didn't have them, because some days go by where I literally can't take any photos at all.
Yeah. I haven't photographed since I guess I worked a little over the weekend, but we had you did too. The whole hurricane throws everything for a loop. And so there was big chunks of last week that nothing got done other than worrying.
Right. For a week at a period of time. Yeah. No, it was terrible. But
so I haven't photographed in days either.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think people need a good kick in the pants every once in a while to be prepared for stuff, because I thought about it and we had some things. So I didn't really go crazy buying food, but it's all the other, and we didn't go buy batteries. I had flashlights, and I did my live. I don't have it over here anymore, but it's the one that goes on your head.
Yeah, a headlamp.
And Gio loves that. And we wore those just because. But, I think you should go through a little drill with your family to know, do you have stuff from time to time? Because if you do live in a crowded area, and this is a newer area, so lots of people are moving here, lots of new construction, lots of new businesses, stuff goes away very quickly. The second they said that it was coming, Walmart was out of water the next day. Done for. So you kind of do need to have your own reserve, because you can't assume if you can't get there right away that you're going to be able to have what you need for your family. When you have little ones, you need to make sure. I mean, obviously you want to provide for your 12-year-old too, but you can suck it up for a couple hours if you need to. I'm sure you don't want a hangry 3-year-old running around. That would be terrible.
No, we went through a lot of snacks.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of snacks.
Yeah, I think this will be a good time. I mean, I find that I want to keep it to 30 minutes, this episode, these Momversations, because I want to be mindful of people's time, but I'm a yapper, and I could ask you questions all day, and I just find it so interesting to talk with people and figure out what they're doing. So I feel like everybody I've said this to, we'll have to have a part 2 in a few months. But I do really appreciate you coming on. Tell everyone where they can find you and spell your ass a lady and all of that.
Oh yeah, it's a funny name. So you can find me on Instagram and Poshmark as Oscilatey. Hold on, I can see my thing. OSCILATEY.
I'll link it below.
And I'm on YouTube as Erin Hall.
Great. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And everybody, hopefully you will like this video on the way out. Leave a comment and let us know if you have any questions or thoughts. And go ahead and subscribe for more Reseller Mom content to get more done, make more money, and stay sane while raising kids and reselling online. See you in the next one. Bye. And the record.